this to preaching, and I really believe this. There's a church for every Christian to be a member.
Yeah.
Now, I wish y'all come here. It wouldn't bother me if this was the only church, only Baptist church in Avery County, and y'all come here. That'd be all right with me. I'm just kidding. I couldn't take care of all them crazy people. Amen, preacher.
Yes.
But there's a place for everybody. There's a pew for everybody to sit on. There's a place for folks. Hey, I'll just go ahead and tell you. There's a place that folks fit in.
Yeah.
Anybody? Can anybody here tell me that anybody fits any better here than David Dunn? I see him at the funeral home. I said, "Boy, y'all was going to church visit." Man, they fit in just right off the bat. They just fit. He said, "Well, let's sing." I said, "Get up in the choir." Amen. They just fit right in. What are you saying, preacher? I'm saying God's got a place for every one of us. How to fit to be what He wants us. This thing's like a puzzle, and we're pieces of it, and God knows where we fit.
Yeah.
What we've got is a whole bunch of folks that ain't fitting because they ain't in the right place. Yeah. Amen. If David's in the wrong place, in this story I've read you, if David's in the wrong place, he's going to end up dead because Saul's going to kill him. If he's really in the wrong place, Jonathan might hit him with one of them arrows. Yeah. He's got to be in the right place. Amen. And if me and you can ever realize how that God's got a place for us and get in the right place, then we'll be successful. Yeah. You said, "Preacher, prove it." I'm glad you asked me to, but I'm going to. I come out here and preach, and I've used this before here, and I'll use it again. I come out here and preach for y'all 4 or 5 years ago, and I couldn't get no peace about taking it. I get up here and try to preach, and I couldn't get 2 words out of my mouth, and I had to offer us time out of it. And Dallas kept saying, and Alan kept saying, "Boy, this is where you need to be." But it wasn't right. I went down yonder, preached on Sunday morning, had good liberty, had it easy to preach. And Sunday evening, the whole church wanted to go out to eat with me. And so there wasn't 16 of them. So we all went out to the steakhouse to eat. And they talked to me, asked me what I believed, what I thought about this and that, and how I thought the service went Sunday morning, and all that. And that's all they said. So one of them finally said, Reed said to me, he said, "Would you drive this far?" I said, "The Lord told me to." I go back in on Sunday night, they ain't got no piano player. I go back in, he said, they sung Sunday morning without any music. He said, "You care to play the piano?" I said, "No, I play the piano." So I said, "Oh, bro." I played, they sung about 2 songs. They take an offering. He's standing out here at the pulpit. He looked, the piano was over there, down there, and he looked up at me and said, "Would you take this church?" I said, I can't remember what I said. I even said something, "Well, you can vote." He said, "We already voted." He said, "I called everybody this evening. We voted. 100% for you to take it." I said, "I believe I will." That fast. Karen's daddy was sick, she was with him. And I come home, I said, "I'll cut the church." She ain't never even been there. Don't know how to get there. Don't know how far it is. I said, "I'll cut the church." She said, "Why?" I said, "Because the Lord told me to." Well, I've seen 40 saved in less than 4 years. This is folk getting saved. I'm talking about alcoholics, 65 years old, that ain't never been to church in life, drunk his whole life. 40 left for that got saved. I'm talking about people that this is made profession 10 times. I'm talking about mean people that didn't know nothing about Jesus getting saved. Why? Because it's in the right place. Yeah. And I stayed down there until I felt like God wanted me to leave, and I left there. I didn't know I was going to come back up here. But it is the right place now. Yeah. Amen. What I'm saying is if you're going to be successful, you're going to have to be in the right place. No, you're going to have to know what season it is. You have to be in the right place, but you're going to have the right kind of equipment. Amen. What kind of equipment does it take, preacher? Right there is part of the equipment you need. Yeah. It's called as the old old timers called it KJV. Yeah. Yeah. I was in high school and somebody said, "You got a KJV?" I said, "What?" King James Bible. "Oh, yes, sir, buddy, I got one." You're going to have the right kind of equipment if you're going to do the job. Not only is that part of your equipment, you'll have the right kind of spirit if you're going to do a job. Why the Bible says, where I believe in Corinthians, he said, "Try the spirits whether they be of God." Not every spirit is all of God, he said. You've got to try the spirits. We've got to have the right kind of spirit if we're going to be successful. We're going to have the right kind of equipment if we're going to be successful. And the thing is there's a whole bunch of running around here ain't got the right kind of equipment. But I'm telling you, successful. I took the King James Bible and walked into a hospital room and just read a verse. And that done the job.
Amen.
I've walked in a house and somebody been lost and just read a verse. Never said a word, never tried to talk to me today. Just read a verse. And done the job.
Yeah.
I believe there's so much power in that book right there that just reading it will do the job.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the right kind of equipment. You got to have the
Yeah.
right kind of equipment if you're going to be successful. Not only you got to have the right kind of equipment, but you've got to be familiar with the equipment. Now back to my story. Like I said, Monday night, wasn't shooting in the dark. Monday evening, put that gun up on that rifle rest, pulled the trigger, and that deer didn't move. And that gun done like this, it went straight back like this. I was staring in the scope when I pulled the trigger. After I pulled the trigger and that gun went off, I still looked at that scope's still on that deer's shoulder. That deer don't move. Just a second or two after that, he took about 2 leaps over in the woods and just stood there. I thought, man, I'll kill that deer. And I kept looking at him. I thought he'll fall over, he'll run off, and he just stood over, just about 2 big leaps out of the edge of the field there, and just looking around. Every now and then he looked at me. I looked at that gun, looked at him. I thought, man, something ain't right. There's no way this is happening. But I mean, this rascal. I thought this is not happening. So I started trying to reload that gun. I knew what season it was. So I've got a powder rifle. I've got to reload this thing. I've got to get powder out. I've got to get this ramrod out and put it down in there, man. I mean, it's like Civil War fighting. Hey, man, I'm trying to get this thing loaded in a hurry. And he finally figures out where I'm at. He takes out. So the next day, I get in that evening. I told Junior what happened. He said, we need to shoot that gun tomorrow. See if it's on. He said, did you shoot it before you left the house? I said, yeah, I shot it. I said, it's pretty close. I said, it may not be perfect, but it's pretty close. I said, close enough. I think she was killed there. So the next day we go out there. We stand in a farmhouse, over at the farmhouse where we stand. The lad gun up across the hood of the truck. He goes out there 60 yards, sticks a target up out there, puts a big cardboard box, the whole big old thing out there, and I shoot that gun, and I'm a foot low and 5 inches to the right. And I'm thinking, I shot that gun at the house. He said, I think that scope might be there. So he said, let me guess. So he counts off what you're supposed to do, move that scope. He said, now shoot it. I shoot it. And he pulls it up where it needs to be, but I'm off that side about 6 inches. And he turns it again, and I'm off this side 3 inches. And he turns it again, and he pulls it back, and I shoot that time, and I'm right there. He said, I told you to shoot this gun. I said, I shot this gun. But I didn't tell him the whole story. And I'll tell you the whole story. I shot it one time, and when I shot it, and it's about dark at the house, I was trying to hurry, and I shot it, and I jumped when I shot it. And I thought, well, I just pulled off. You know what I done? I didn't get familiar enough with the equipment to be successful.
Yeah.
I was not familiar enough with equipment to be successful. Now, as Christians, if we're not familiar enough with equipment, we're not going to be successful. We can go to church, we can listen to singing, we can listen to preaching, but if we don't get familiar with the equipment, and I said this book and the spiritual equipment, if you don't get familiar with this book and you don't get familiar with the Spirit of God, you will not be successful as a Christian. You will not be able to get the job done when the time comes.